China is witnessing one of the most awaited political events that will decide the fate of this communist country for another 5 years, starting from Sunday. The week-long congressional sittings have started that will decide who will be the president of China for the next 5 years and who all will be the senior political bureau members and the members of a standing committee. These are the key positions that decides Chinese policy on economy, on military, on defense, foreign policy, and of course the political issues and the domestic issues as well. Xi Jinping has been able to secure a third consecutive term also, which is going to be a historic achievement as nobody ever since Mao Zedong has been able to have three successive terms as the president of Chinese Communist Party and China as a country also. In his hour and 45-minute long address to the Congress, President Xi Jinping has said that China will go on a path of rejuvenation. He has talked about modernization, he has talked about military maneuvering, and he has also said that it will not shy away from using military means if it will be necessary to include Taiwan also into the larger part of China. Remember, Taiwan is a has been a legacy issue between People's Republic of China and also the Taiwanese government. Taiwan has been ruled by a democratic setup, while China is being ruled in a communist setup politically. And Chinese government considers Taiwan as part of its larger one China policy, where Taiwanese will someday come back to the mainland China, and they will be governed in one China policy mandate. He also talked about Xi Jinping also talked about Hong Kong and said that it is an exemplary to see how Hong Kong has turned from chaos to calmness to peacefulness. We know that 2 years ago, China's political party and Chinese authorities in Hong Kong imposed certain rules and regulations that did not allow any free speech. There have been repression. There is a protest that still continues in Hong Kong. But that was a way to solidify and strengthen China's position in one of its island nation also. Xi Jinping said that Taiwan issue must be resolved by Chinese people alone. She went on saying that external forces interfering in the affairs of the island is something that is creating trouble in that area. Xi Jinping said that we will adhere to striving for the prospect of a peaceful reunification with the greatest sincerity and greatest efforts, but will never commit to abandoning the use of force and reserves the option to take all necessary measure. This statement especially becomes important in the light of the recent military drills that China has conducted around Taiwanese Strait in the month of August. There was in the aftermath of Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. There had been week-long military drills that included live fires, and the tensions were quite heightened in that region. So much so that certain missiles, like Dongfeng missile that was used by Chinese that flew over Taiwan and fell into the special economic zone of Japan, for which Japan also registered protest to the Chinese authorities. However, China did not consider that those special economic zone that Japan claims as its zone is something that is still disputed, and that is part of maritime boundary dispute between China and Japan. So something that created trouble between China and Japan also in the aftermath of Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. China also tried to reach to those lines or those meridians where Chinese armies or Chinese air forces did not cross much in the past history. And during the military exercise, it became very often that incursion of Chinese military planes happened into the special air force zone or demilitarized zone of Taiwan. Also, during that period of military drill, China blocked those trade routes, sea routes also, for which it was believed that it created a lot of international supply chain disruption, which was already ailing for the last 2 years because of the COVID pandemic and the scarcity of food, fertilizer, fuel, and certain important key part of manufacturing industry as well. So, in that context of Taiwan-China struggle, this is something that the world was watching very carefully and cautiously. And now, when Chinese president has especially mentioned that it will not commit to abandoning force for the reunification of Taiwan with China, is something that is again an acknowledgement of the fact that China considers Taiwan as part of its one China policy, and probably it's also dreaming of a day when Taiwan will actually come back to the fold of larger one China policy and will be governed the way Chinese mainland is governed.